It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be. I trust you all had a wonderful holiday and are still enjoying those goodies from your Easter baskets or your chocolate-covered matzo. I love chocolate, especially dark. But wait a minute, this isn't a candy show. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited about my show. Excited about two things. First, this is my 199th show. Yay! And second, I can't wait to talk with my guest, Chiropractor Dr. Chris Bonin, who will be with me in just a bit. I have so many questions for him. But first of all, of course, the weather. It's pretty hot here lately. It's been in the 90s, very windy, lots of pollen everywhere. And poor Lucy, my dog actor, if you look at my videos, I hope the article's on the front page. You'll see Lucy. She's on prednisone for allergies. But we know once it gets over the 100-degree mark, hopefully the pollen will go away. I'm hoping, because I can't even put the top down on my car. Too much pollen. Anyway, I hope wherever you are, the sun is shining and you're having a wonderful day. If you did not get a chance to listen to Paying It Forward, the hour before this show from 10 to 11 on TogiNet, you should listen to the podcast. It was a great show. I was a guest with Josephine Gerasi. She's the host, and we talked about things you should not do when you have a business, and what an eye-opening show. Not because I was on it, but Josephine had such terrific tips. So, tune in, listen to the podcast and all the other great shows on TogiNet. We have everything you could ever want. So many wonderful topics. So on that note, recalls this week, guess what? There weren't any pertinent recalls to baby toddler equipment, toys. But if you go to my website, babyinstructions.com, the recalls are always up to date on that website. And as I say every week, if you have something that's been recalled, do not try to fix it yourself and finagle it so it works. Just take it, call the company. I have the company numbers, the company emails, and until you can get a hold of them to see what they're going to do, you know what, just put it away. Don't try to fix it yourself. So let's see what else we have today. Whether it's allergies or a cold, when your little one has a runny nose and they're whining and crying and not feeling good and they don't know how to blow their nose, especially if it's a baby, because they breathe out of their noses those first 6 months or so. I have a chapter in my book called Will This Runny Nose Ever Stop? And while Dr. Chris is going to be on talking about ear infections and lots of other things, I thought I would share some tips from my books this week from that chapter. So my first tip is that you should get a bottle of avocado oil. Avocado oil doesn't have chemicals in it. It's so great for chapped lips, under the nose. When poor little babies or toddlers are constantly having that runny nose, it's all red and chapped and their little cheeks get chapped. Get some avocado oil. Put your little one in front of the mirror if they're a toddler, and put some avocado oil on a cotton ball and let them dab it themselves and tell them to make funny faces. It's not only fun and gets them to stop thinking about how their nose hurts and how they're cranky because they're sick. Do it in the mirror with them. Let them help you. Toddlers love to help. So that's the first tip. The other tip I wanted to say is will this runny nose ever stop? If your toddler is not thrilled about taking a bath or a shower, get some swimming goggles. I've said this before and I'm repeating it because, sometimes they get so cranky you don't know what to do with them. A nice warm bath really helps. And if they have a fever, it will bring the fever down. But make sure the bath is warm. People have asked me, am I supposed to make the water cold if my child has a fever? Don't ever put a child in a bathtub with cold water, especially a sick child. Make sure it's warm. Put your elbow in like we used to do years ago. It's, you know, our moms did that. You don't need some kind of fancy schmancy thing to tell you what the temperature is in the bathtub. Your wrist, inside of your wrist, your elbow, make it nice and warm, and it will calm them down. And if you give them some goggles, swimming goggles, it's fun too, and an activity. Also, if they get bored and you have read them the same book over and over and over, let them read it to you and tell them to do the voices, because it's so much fun, especially if it's something like the Three Little Bears or whatever it is. Let them read it to you. It's lots of fun when they do the voices, and you'll be laughing. And you know what? Nothing better than spending time with your children. Cuddle up, let them read the book to you. So those are my tips from Help. My toddler came without instructions. Will this runny nose ever stop? And you can go to babyinstructions.com or my new website, mybestparentingadvice.com. And you can get the book there. Makes a great gift, and it's coming up. Will be into May before we know it, and lots of babies are born in the springtime. Makes a great gift. So I think I have a caller on the line, and I am ready to talk to Don if he's there. Don, are you there? No?
Yes,
well,
I'm here.
Well, good morning. How are you?
Don?
How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks for calling in. Do you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I wanted to know the benefits of chiropractic for newborns. Is that something that chiropractic can help with?
You know what? That's a great question, and I have to tell you, Dr. Chris will be on with us in just a bit, and if you can stay tuned and listen to the show, that will be my first question to him, I promise, because you know what? I can't imagine it couldn't be a benefit. I'm guessing, but I'd love to go to a chiropractor, so I'm sure it can help. But it can help the parents, too, when you don't get that sleep. Did you just have a baby?
Yeah, actually, we had a baby a little while ago. But yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, Don, you know, stay tuned, and as soon as Dr. Chris is here, I will ask him that question, and you'll have the answer. So thanks for calling in.
Okay, great.
Take care. Bye-bye. Wow, that's a good question. I can't wait to talk to Dr. Chris, and he'll be with us in just a few minutes. But I had a couple things I wanted to share with you before we welcome him. First of all, did you know that car seats have expiration dates? The article says a car seat normally expires after about 6 years, mainly because the safety standards change over time as safer technologies develop. And the type of materials used in a car seat affects the expiration date and how the seat will wear over time or hold up in a crash. And it says you can find these dates on the label on the side of the seat. They found that car seats can be recycled, but it's a great, you know what, and it's a great alternative, but I didn't quite understand this, because if it's expired, you don't want to, recycled, I'm sorry, I'm thinking you're giving it to somebody else. Anyway, you can give it to recycle, because I guess it takes years and years for it to go away. Also, this person discovered an event for recycling car seats. Well, this already happened. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So if you have a car seat, you know, make sure you look at the expiration date on the side. And especially if you live in a hot climate like we live in Arizona, the materials used, if it's not metal, you know, if it's that plastic, who knows if it's going to melt. So check for the expiration date. And also there was another interesting article in USA Today, actually yesterday. It was from the National Transportation Safety Board that said they're calling for child seats to be on planes. And this was a pretty scary article, because they talked about two children who were aboard United flight, which crashed in 1989 and killed 185 people, but 111 survived. Anyway, two sets of parents with small children were told to brace for impact by placing infants on the floor cushioned with blankets. The plane approached the runway at 240 miles per hour, cartwheeled, caught fire, and the parents were unable to find the children when they evacuated. A passenger heard the 11-month-old girl crying and carried her out. Unfortunately, the mom with the 22-month-old son was not so lucky. He died of asphyxiation from the smoke in the plane. And you know what? So sad. So they're trying to have this new rule to have child seats. The federal regulations allows parents to hold children up to 2 years old in their laps. And, it's not safe, and it's a great idea. And you can go to USA Today on April 22nd, and you can look. It's called the NTSB Chief Calls for Child Seats on Planes. And another important part of this article said, airlines say parents and caregivers should check before flying to make sure their child restraint is approved for use on the aircraft. And also ask if there are discounts available, because buying a ticket for a child is the only way to guarantee that they're safe, and they have their own seat, and you can take the child's seat with you. So ask for a discount and make sure your safety seat is part of the regulations. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And before our break, one more thing. There was another article in Science Daily Behavior News about the impact of childhood bullying still evident after 40 years. It said inhibited children become anxious adults. Loud talking and horseplay results in more serious incidents for teen drivers. And it's amazing that if you were bullied 40 years ago, it says inhibited children become anxious adults, which, my goodness, this study, again, I talk about studies on my show every so often. You have to take these studies with a grain of salt. So if you're interested in that article, it's in the Science Daily Behavior News. You can look online for that about the impact of childhood bullying, evident after 40 years. I didn't know we talked about bullying then, but anyway, we are going to break for a commercial in just about 45 seconds, and when we come back, we are going to have Dr. Chris Bonin with us, and we are going to talk all about being a chiropractor, what it can help, and I'm going to ask him the first question that Don just asked me, because it was a really interesting question. So Dr. Chris was raised in Canada, and he spent most of his summers at his cottage fishing, hiking, and winters on the ice playing hockey. And after witnessing a family member's death, he knew he was interested in healing. So Dr. Chris is a true healer. And following his hockey days, he went to the University of Manitoba. He has a bachelor degree of science in biochemistry and microbiology, and he studied how the nervous system controls every cell in your body. I mean, he's done so much, so I'm going to have him say more about how he became a chiropractor, because we have to break for commercial. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Chances are you didn't give birth to Einstein. So why are you trying to raise your child to be like him? Welcome to Stop Raising Einstein with your host, Tara Kennedy Klein, Woohoo Radio Network's parenting show dedicated to helping you release the myth of the perfect parent and discover the unique brilliance in your child and you. Tara and her panel of amazing, intelligent, and sometimes off-the-wall guests will share the tips, tools, trends, and techniques available that will help you stop raising Einstein and start relishing your role as a proud and present parent. Join her every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for Stop Raising Einstein, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Be here for Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer, Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Tricia will dig deep into topics that matter most to women, inspiring women to make a change in their own lives and to make a difference in the world, and maybe even deep within their own hearts. Tricia is a wife, mom, speaker, family expert, and author of 24 books. For more information on Tricia and Living Inspired, go to her website, TriciaGoyer.com. That's TriciaGoyer.com. Tricia's vision is to be the voice of hope and possibility for women of all ages. Her intention is to serve ordinary women by encouraging extraordinary things with God's help. Tricia expresses real life, real hope for real women.
Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer. Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. The hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, that music got a little stuck, but I'm not stuck. So I was telling you about my guest that I want to introduce you to, Dr. Chris. He attended Northwestern College of Chiropractic in Minneapolis, and finishing his education, he made the decision to move to Arizona to be in a warmer climate. Yeah, you didn't know it was going to be so hot in the summer, huh, Chris? And over the years, he attended many seminars to provide the most up-to-date care for his patients. He's been a featured speaker and has given many health seminars on lots of topics. And Dr. Chris provides the highest level of wellness care for everyone. I mean, there's nothing better than having an adjustment, going to a chiropractor that knows the body inside and out and fixing things or just balancing things. So anyway, with that introduction, I want to introduce you to Dr. Chris Bonin. Am I saying your last name right?
Bonin, yes.
Okay. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you can be here this morning. We already had a call. Was a new dad that wanted to know if it was beneficial for a newborn to go to a chiropractor and how it could help a newborn.
Oh, absolutely. We see lots of newborns here in the office, and many times during the birth process there could be complications, whether it's a difficult delivery, C-sections, forceps, suction cups, however that delivery may happen, there could be some trauma. And sometimes that trauma can be attributed to, chronic ear infections, some colic, other health issues, allergies. So making sure that the body is in proper alignment without interference to the nervous system, allowing the body to function properly is a great beginning for children, especially for their overall health. So it's definitely something that we highly promote to improve health overall, just at the very beginning of life for those children.
What's the youngest age a child can bring a parent can bring a baby to a chiropractor?
Day one. With our patients, many times, probably a few dozen times, I've actually been at the hospital with the patients just to check the child to make sure that they're good right after the birth process.
Wow, that is so interesting. So do you, I know many of us think of going to a chiropractor. I can just sit here in my mind and hear the and the noises, and especially in the neck, because you hear it in your ears. And I know there's all different kinds of ways to adjust, to adjust our bodies. But what do you do with a newborn? Are they on their back? Are they on their tummies? Or what do you do?
It's so easy to adjust a newborn. You use the same pressure as you would to put in a contact lens. It's just very, very minimal. And literally the mother will hold the child, and just to check the child is very, very easy. Adjustment takes seconds if it needs to happen, and it's very simple and very safe and effective for the child.
That's pretty great. Well, Dawn, if you're listening, I hope that answered the question. And feel free to call if you have another question. And anyone else out there, if you have any questions, you can call us at 877-864-4869. And we will take your questions, or go to toginet.com to the chat and type your question in. So let's see. You decided to become a chiropractor because of something that happened in your family. Did you always know you were a healer? I think you're a healer. I'm going to call you a healer because that's what you do. You heal us. Did you always know?
It was a process because, growing up, I was always interested in the human body, how it works. From that tragic event, it was my grandfather that passed away when I was young, and seeing the effects of that event on the rest of my family, my mother, my father, aunts and uncles, I discovered that seeing that was something that triggered in me something to help other people and make sure that didn't happen to the rest of my family. I think there was a little bit of a protective mechanism in there, and not knowing specifically chiropractic at the time, I thought I was going to go into medical school. And going through my high school and university courses, I was doing a lot of research and a lot of reading, and what I found out is the general, approach to, health, and I use that in quotes, many times is through, medications, drugs, surgery, and which is all needed and good. But many times there's so much that can be done naturally without having to go to that route, and that definitely resonated with me more. And once I learned more about chiropractic, I knew exactly that that's what I wanted to do.
Were you scared the first time you did an adjustment?
That's a good question. School really, prepared us. We didn't do any adjustments or attempt any adjustments. For the first year and a half of school or so, we had to learn the anatomy, of course, palpation, understand the parts of the body. And we had excellent teachers, professors that actually helped us through the process, literally having us put our hands on their hands as they did an adjustment, and it made it much more comfortable. But to say that I wasn't scared, wouldn't be accurate. I was definitely a little bit nervous the first time I actually did an adjustment, yes.
I can't imagine. I mean, but you do. But once you do it, I guess the more you practice, like, did you practice on your family and your dog and all kinds of things before you?
Not the dog, but we practiced on each other. The students, when you're in that type of intense school, you spend so much time together, and we literally just practiced on each other. There was clubs where, we would practice techniques and assessments and things like that. And I think the family was probably more nervous about me adjusting them than I was.
So, how long have you been doing this?
I'm now in my, I'm in my 11th year now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have things changed a lot since you went to school to be a chiropractor?
I think that there's been a lot of, as far as the chiropractic itself is concerned, I think there's a lot more acceptance now as people are learning a little bit more about what chiropractic actually is, and it's not just about neck pain and low back pain, that there's so much more benefit to it. I think that the allopathic community is much more open. The younger doctors are coming in seeing that there is a benefit and how they can work together with us and for the patient's benefit. So in that respect, I think that that it's getting a lot better, and as well, there's better technology. There's better imaging. There's EMGs, thermal scans, diagnostic X-rays, different types of adjusting techniques to make it much more comfortable for the patient. So definitely, I believe it's much more accepted now as it was 10 years ago, and it's going in the right direction, which is great.
And that's great because it should be. I mean, there's so many other things you can do for your body to heal it besides an antibiotic. So, I have a question from one of my listeners. How much does chiropractic manipulation parallel with the Chinese acupuncture points? Is it the same as acupuncture?
That's a great question. I'm not terribly familiar with the acupuncture points, but what I do know is that with acupuncture, it's about the body's energy and aligning the body's energy, and that's really what chiropractic is about too. Because as chiropractors, we align the body to allow the nervous system to function better. And when the nervous system functions better, the body functions better, and we're more healthy. And I know acupuncture basically has the same type of theory and philosophy, and it's just a different way of going about it, where they use the needles and specific points, and we use the adjustments.
Right. Because I have a friend that's been having neck issues, and she's working with a chiropractor and with an acupuncturist.
That's fantastic. They work together very, very well.
Well, that's what she said. I mean, she doesn't live down here in the valley, but she just said it's great because, once you get to know the patient's body, I'm sure you know how they adjust. And do you need to put more heat before you can make that noise that goes in your ear with the adjustment, or maybe not? So I have to ask you this about the X-rays, because I'm an advocate of going to a chiropractor, for years and years. I've lived here 20 years, and I used to go when I lived in other states. And this one chiropractor, we used to joke with him because he used to tell us we needed an X-ray. Mm-hmm. And at one point I said to him, I think you have 4 X-rays, or 5. I think you have tiny, small, medium, large, and extra large. And you bring the X-ray in, you look at what we look like, and then you bring the appropriate size X-ray in. And you know what? And you say, look at this, one leg shorter than the other. We used to joke all the time. He was a great chiropractor, as I know you are too. But are the X-rays beneficial? Because we're talking about 30 years ago. I mean, with different machines and different everything. Yeah.
Well, the X-rays now, there's much less radiation, the better technology, and chiropractors use the X-rays many times to not only see if there's fractures or tumors or those major types of things or bone density, but we use them, especially wellness or corrective care chiropractors. We use the X-rays as a guide to, where the problems are, how long they've been there, what we need to do to correct them, and literally it really helps with the adjustments, because it is about helping the human frame and getting everything in the right alignment. And the X-rays are basically the way for us to see inside the body what's going on with that alignment.
Well, that's good to know, because I did always wonder. And do you have a special class when you go to school just on radiology?
Yeah, absolutely. We take radiology right from the beginning or all the way through, and we have our national board exams that have lots of radiology on there as well. So, it's a very critical component to practice.
Well, I'm happy you explained that about it, so people know there isn't small, medium, large, and extra large, that it is your own X-ray. Another question is, what's the difference between a chiropractor and an osteopath? People get mixed up sometimes.
Yep. So a chiropractor, chiropractic has been around since 1895, and osteopathic, the osteopathic profession is newer than that. I believe it was Andrew Still that is the father of osteopathy, and it was a profession that was started by the medical community to basically, I don't know what the word would be, but I guess kind of go up against chiropractic. And osteopaths these days rarely do adjustments or what they call manipulations. Chiropractic adjustments are short manipulations or short adjustments where the osteopaths use what's called long lever adjustments. And they're a little bit more rough in my experience, a little bit more, there's more strength used in those. But right now, only about 5 to 10% of osteopaths actually do adjustments, and most of them are more into the allopathic medicine. They've gone the route of prescribing medications, and the osteopaths, the doctors of osteopathy, the DOs, are more like medical doctors now and less like chiropractors. So it's definitely a little bit different.
Well, I thank you for explaining that, because the thing that I do like is that they do understand all aspects of the body. And you don't just go in and have a sore throat. They look at everything. But on that note, we are breaking for commercial. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, oh, I need you.
In the annals of recorded history, there has never been anything that can compare to home movies. But now, in this modern era, where do you turn for the best information? Right here. It's the Home Movie Legacy Project, hosted by Rhonda Vigent. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central here on the Rockstar Radio Network. Learn how to organize, digitize, share on social media, use as genealogy research, repurpose, or even monetize found footage. Discover ways to find films about your own family that you didn't even know existed. Or create a documentary that can use the power of home movies to deliver a message that can impact the lives of many. For more on Rhonda and the show, go to our website, homemovielegacy.com. Then be here as the journey continues with the Home Movie Legacy Project with Rhonda Vigent. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central here on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Are you ready to start rocking that woohoo that only you do? Because Lisa Stedman is on a mission. She will dare you, challenge you, enlighten you, provoke, and empower you to bring out that inner woohoo. Lisa is an internationally acclaimed best-selling author. She is a breakup expert, a brand consultant, CEO of Woohoo Inc. and the Woohoo Radio Network. She will show you how to take your boohoo and turn it into woohoo. Get rebellious and get real. Get your dreams off the back burner. Get inspired and motivated to take action. Start rocking that woohoo that only you do in love, life, and business. She is going to be here here for you every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woo Woo Radio Network.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to the show. I am so excited. I have Dr. Chris Bonin, chiropractor, on the show, and we are talking all about the importance of going to a chiropractor. And I need to correct the number. If you have a question, comment, or just want to say good morning, you can call us at 903-787-5887. That's 903-787-5887. Don't be shy. I love callers, so call us. Ask questions. You know what? We all have questions. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about pregnant moms and coming to a chiropractor while you're pregnant and after you have the baby. So, Todd, what are the advantages if you're pregnant? Can you be adjusted when you're pregnant?
Absolutely. At the beginning, regular adjustments are totally fine. They're completely safe and effective. As the mother starts showing, we typically we do the adjustments in a face-up or side posture position. The adjustments during the pregnancy will actually, studies have shown that it helps with the actual delivery process and low back pain during the pregnancy. Obviously as the biomechanics of the body changes, as the mother gets bigger, the adjustments are going to really help counterbalance everything and keep everything in alignment.
And what about after the baby, when the hormones are going crazy and you're not sleeping and you're grumpy and crying, but you love the baby? You can't stop looking at your baby.
It'll certainly help with all that as well. Yeah.
Well, I have to ask the question for people that have never been to a chiropractor, does it hurt? I mean, I'm making a joke, and if you haven't been to a chiropractor, I'll say for me, it doesn't hurt. It feels good. And yes, sometimes you hear little noises, but You know what? It doesn't hurt. I don't think it hurts.
Yeah, no, it's very, very comfortable. And, it's definitely, it's strange at first because, most people are a little hesitant to have someone else's hands in their body. And when you hear that most people call a cracking noise, it's actually called a cavitation. It's an audible release of gas. Every joint in our body's got kind of like it's kind of got grease, kind of like a fluid membrane around it. And over time, gases will build up in that joint, gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and when you adjust the body, and those gases basically make a popping noise, and that's what that noise is. And you don't necessarily need to hear the noise. Not every adjustment has that noise. Sometimes it does, but it's totally not dependent on an adjustment or not. So as far as the how comfortable it is, as long as the chiropractors do the proper workup. They know exactly, your comfort level and which techniques to use. It should be actually a very comfortable experience. And the only types of pain that might happen is that, if you come in and from a slip or fall or a major injury, of course, getting, any sort of work done might be a little bit uncomfortable because of the inflammation in the area. But usually that will it lasts only about 12 to 24 hours, and using a little bit of ice on those particular areas will help reduce that inflammation and reduce the pain.
Right, and you feel so good after. And I have to say, you know what? And the noises that Dr. Chris is talking about, it's not a tremendous big noise that everybody can hear in the waiting room. You sort of hear something in your ears if you hear anything.
Yeah,
so
exactly, yeah.
And it doesn't hurt. I don't think it hurts at all.
No, and it shouldn't. And, it should be very, very comfortable.
So let's talk a little bit about ear infections because, when kids are little, a lot of them get lots of ear infections. I know my daughter had a ton of ear infections, and, I'm ashamed to say I wasn't quite in the field yet. I was a new mom, and it would have never occurred to me to come to a chiropractor with my daughter with an ear infection. So she was on antibiotics and probably too many. Mm-hmm. And I wish I had the knowledge then that I have now that we can come to you. So how does chiropractic help with ear infections?
Well, I
versus
appreciate you
antibiotics?
asking this, because this is probably the thing that I get asked about the most. Most people think it would be headaches or low back pain, but childhood ear infections is probably the hottest topic right now. So what usually happens, like I talked about earlier, during the birth process, sometimes it can be traumatic and difficult on the child. And just a little bit of background, that the nerves in the neck control lots of things, and one of those things that it controls are the eyes, ears, nose, and throat, potential for sinus or allergy issues or headaches. So if there's any interference to those particular nerves, especially in the upper part of the neck, those nerves that control the ears, or smooth muscle of the ears, can have interference, and that smooth muscle doesn't contract properly or contracts too much, and fluid can build up over time. And then when fluid builds up over time, doesn't get a chance to release, that's when there could be bacterial infections. So many times treatment, the regular treatment would be antibiotics or tubes or things like that, which sometimes are warranted, but many, many times they aren't, because that isn't the cause of the problem. If the cause of the problem is the interference to the nerves that cause the issues of the ears, then the chiropractic adjustments have been shown time and time again to help with the drainage of the fluid in the ears, and thus allowing the body to heal itself and boosting immunity and reducing the ear infection. So it's actually getting to the true cause of the problem.
That's what's so great about going to a chiropractor, because you don't just give a prescription, although, I think antibiotics have their place, and I think you have to do what's comfortable. Everybody's different. But it's interesting because I'm looking at your ear infection facts, that 85% of all children get ear infections. It's the number one reason for visits to the pediatrician, the emergency room. And it's in the United States, there's over 30 million visits to the pediatrician for ear infections alone. Mm-hmm. I mean, my gosh, the statistics are unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Yeah, it certainly is. And if more people would utilize chiropractic for this, not only would it keep healthcare costs down, but the unnecessary usage of the antibiotics, many times it could be avoided, and children would be much more healthier.
So, are we going to turn around and change it? Does the pediatrician ever say, why don't you go to Dr. Chris before we try antibiotics? Because I'm so happy that a lot of doctors don't just throw everybody on antibiotics. They don't give you a prescription. A lot of times they tell you to wait, and it's so frustrating for parents, because when your child hurts or feels bad, you hurt too.
Yeah, and that's true, and most people go to the pediatrician for that, and some pediatricians will refer to us. That's happened, but I would really like to see a trial of treatment with us first, and then if that is the cause, then it will help, and if not, then yeah, definitely antibiotics may be the place at that point.
So if somebody comes into you, can you look in their ear? Is that how you diagnose it, or do they have to go to the pediatrician first?
We can actually look in the ear. Many times they've already been to the pediatrician and they've diagnosed it. And we also have what's called infrared thermography, which will check the nerves to the neck, and those nerves in the neck that control the ears. If there's interference to those particular nerves, we know that chiropractic can benefit that child, whether that's with the ear infections or even boosting the immunity to help support their immune system as they're fighting off that infection.
That is so interesting. Can you tell my listeners, let's say they have a 3-year-old that has an ear infection, what do they lay on a table, or do they sit on mommy's lap and you do an adjustment? Can you kind of take us through it?
Yeah, so the first thing obviously would be getting a proper health history and background, and asking questions, with childhood's activity levels, their nutrition, their lifestyle, that whole thing. And then once we would do that, we would do an examination, physical examination, as well as the infrared thermography, EMG, making sure, or basically seeing how the nervous system is functioning. Once we can assess that and determine a need for chiropractic care, the adjustments are just like everyone else. So, typically we have the child lay on a table. In our office, we have a specific adjusting room for kids, or a little zebra table, it's called. They will lay down on that. It makes it much more comfortable for them. It's a very, very fun environment, and we could do the adjustments there. And just like you or I, you lay down on a table, we do the physical assessment to see, and then either manual adjustment or an adjustment using what's called an activator or integrator. It's an adjusting tool that alleviates the popping and turning, twisting, cracking. And sometimes at first it'll be more comfortable for the children.
Do you have a mobile over the table, over the giraffe table? I mean, how do you get them to hold still?
Just have them relax, and usually, they're already pretty comfortable because myself and Dr. Sonia, the other doctor here in the office, we're really good with kids, and we joke around with them. We make them comfortable. They're in the room has got murals of animals on the walls and stuff like that, so they're already having fun, and basically, they're in a good mood by the time we're adjusting them.
What fun. Do you give them like little prizes or candy or something to bribe them?
We certainly don't give them candy, but we give them stickers.
I get parents ask me all the time, is it okay to bribe my child? And I say, you're not bribing them. You're suggesting. You're not bribing. You're suggesting.
Absolutely. Suggestions. Exactly.
That's really great to know because, I just look back, honestly, with the amount of antibiotics my daughter was on, and she finally ended up getting tubes. Both my kids got tubes because they didn't know what to do, and it was constant ear infections, and I hope my credibility isn't going down, but it's like 35 years ago, so forgive me.
Well, yeah, and there's technology now. We know many times, what's causing it, and if we know what's causing it, we know how we can help.
So what happens, I'm going to go the next step because I deal with preschools a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this the right way. So if you take your child to a chiropractor and they're not on antibiotics, many preschools have rules that if your child's on antibiotics, they can't come back for 24 hours. So if they have an ear infection, and also, a lot of times the runny nose goes along with it, everything's dripping. I wonder, do the preschools recognize going to a chiropractor and that you can send a note in and say you've adjusted the child, or is this a new area that I'm just coming up with for you?
Some of the preschools do actually recognize that, and which is really great. Not enough of them do, in my opinion, right now, but it's definitely moving that way. And and once the child gets adjusted, like you and I, it doesn't take a lot of adjustments. We can see results in as little as a few adjustments with children because they're so resilient. Their bodies are so much more healthier, and they bounce back real quick. So once they see that they've been getting adjusted and how much better they are, how quickly they are, it's kind of like a domino effect. They get it. So it's pretty cool.
That's great because, the tunes are coming. We'll continue to talk with Dr. Chris.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these. Have you been laid off, fired, downsized, right-sized, or re-engineered out of a job? Are you unemployed or anticipate that possibility? Then tune in for Successfully Unemployed, hosted by Alan Sherwood, MBA, president of Sherwood Consulting Service. Successfully Unemployed will provide you a hope-filled and comprehensive approach to the job search process from an author who's experienced it all. Alan and his guests will cover all dimensions of a job search: physical tasks, mental attitude, emotional health, even one's spiritual perspective. All must be integrated in order for a person to be successfully unemployed so they can then be successfully employed. This show is designed to help you move forward from job loss to finding or creating more fulfilling work. For more on Alan Sherwood, MBA, and the show, check out his website, successfullyunemployed.com. Then join us for Successfully Unemployed with Alan Sherwood, MBA. Thursday nights at 8, 7 Central here on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. The hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Did you know if you have a little one with an ear infection, you can go to Dr. Chris or a chiropractor in your state and they can help you with ear infections? I didn't know that. So I'm here talking to Dr. Chris Bonin, chiropractor, and Dr. Chris Bonin, and he is telling us about ear infections. And I am just so happy to hear that adjustments can help because antibiotics do have their place, but You don't always need them, and it's good to have another way to go. Also, once you adjust a child, Lindsay, my daughter, had ear infections, as I said, all the time. Do you see once they're adjusted, they don't keep getting ear infections?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a reduction in frequency and severity.
Boy, that's good to know, too,
Yeah.
because, okay. Do you have any funny stories you want to share with us about being a chiropractor?
There's one story comes to mind. Another reason why some people see chiropractors is a last resort for infertility, actually. So there's been many studies showing how reduction in nerve interference can allow the body to work better, and specifically reproductive organs. So many times, if the problem with infertility is the reproductive organs not functioning properly, chiropractic can actually help restore the normal function of those organs, allowing people to get pregnant. So in my first few years of practice, we had quite a large family practice, and there was a couple that was trying to get pregnant, and they tried all sorts of different procedures, and once they started coming to us, after about 4 weeks, and they actually got pregnant, and they couldn't get pregnant for years and years before that. So they felt that it was the chiropractic care that really helped spark that, make that happen. And one day the mother came in with a shirt that said, "My chiropractor got me pregnant." So I thought that was pretty funny.
I think that's great. And
Yeah.
that's terrific. You should have. Do you have a picture in your office that says that? You should have that.
No,
Free gifts.
I don't actually.
Did they name the baby after you, Chris?
No, they did
Christine?
not. No.
That's a great story. But when you look at all these, at chiropractor, at acupuncture, at all the natural things, at Eastern medicine versus Western, it's all about balancing our bodies and knowing our bodies. And that's why it's so wonderful that we have people like you out there that understand how you can balance your body better. We all hear eat a healthy diet, exercise. We all know that.
Yeah.
But when you can't do that, it's great that you're there. So if somebody feels good, or if somebody maybe can't sleep and they just have a few aches and pains, can you just balance the body? You don't have to come in, like you said, for a neck ache or after a car accident.
Absolutely. I would say a third of our whole practice doesn't have any symptoms whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. And the reason why they come in is because they want to prevent symptoms from happening in the first place. Our society is so reactive. We always wait for some sort of ache and pain, when the truth of the matter is that's when it's too late. We got to be more proactive and doing the things before we start feeling the aches and pains. And the truth is we all have stress in our lives, and stress affects our bodies. And once there's too much stress, there's a tipping point, and that's when we get the symptoms. So many of our patients come in knowing the amount of stress, physical, biochemical, psychological stressors in their life that can be affecting their body. And what we do is not only keep them accountable to those lifestyle things that you mentioned, which are so important, but we also adjust them to help really limit the effects of the negative stress on the body, to help give their bodies a better chance to heal.
That's so good to know, because I'm sitting here at my computer and my shoulders are like up in my ears, which women do all the time. We sit and our shoulders go up and we don't sit up straight. And so many of us spend so much time in front of the computer and we don't sit properly.
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
To come get an adjustment, I'm ready. I'm calling your office. I'll be there 9:00.
Sounds good.
But it's good to know that you can do preventative by coming to a chiropractor, because I think you have a car accident, go to the chiropractor. And I think that's what most of us, think, and it's not true.
Yeah. Yeah, just like brushing your teeth. You don't wait for a cavity to brush your teeth, or many times you can get a massage before you have any major aches and pains, or even acupuncture. All those things are all proactive, and it's all fantastic stuff.
And it feels so good. You know what? When your body feels good, you sleep better. You just feel better all around. And we have such a stressful life with so many things. But I think we have a caller. Bill is on the phone. Bill, are you there?
I'm here.
See. Hi, Bill. Good morning. Thanks for calling in. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. For the chiropractor, really kind of a two-part question. I heard that chiropractic care can help your immune system. Is that true?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, one of the major studies that helped turn me on to chiropractic was a study done out of New York School of Preventive Medicine. Dr. Ron Perot showed that when people get adjusted, their immune system's white blood cell counts are boosted 200 to 400%. And just on that fact alone, everyone, in my opinion, should be getting adjusted. And the New York School of Preventive Medicine has nothing to do with chiropractic, actually. After this research came out, all his autoimmune and cancer patients were getting adjusted.
Well, that's good to know, because you know what, our immune systems, especially this time of year, people have been so sick. If you can go to a chiropractor and Dr. Chris can make us better and boost up our immune system. Bill, did you have another question? Oh, I guess Bill hung up. He said he had a two-part question. Well, you know what, Bill, if you go on the stack at toginet.com on the chat before the end of the show, you can send me your question and Dr. Chris can answer. Oh, Bill's back. Well, good. Hey, Bill, are you back?
I did, and I heard most of the answer, but I guess I have a follow-up question because I have two little kids that go to school and, feel like every year they're getting constantly sick because all the germs I feel like they're around or, whatever, they're always getting sick. So is chiropractic safe for kids as well?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it absolutely is. Just like with adults, we adjust to children. And just like I said with your first question, it helps boost the immune system. When your immune system is stronger, you're less susceptible to getting those infections or earaches or allergies and sinus issues. It helps build up your immunity. It's part of one of the 5 proven ways to boost immune system function, and that's exercise, diet, rest, positive mindset, and chiropractic care. So that's a great question.
That is a great question, because being in the preschool field too, little kids always have the runny noses and they pass it back and forth. And if you have a baby, I don't know how old your children are, Bill, but when you have the toddlers, the babies, and they put everything in their mouths and pass it along, that's really great. So I'm so happy you called. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for calling. And you know what? Stay healthy and go see Dr. Chris if you live in Arizona.
Okay, thank you. I will.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. That was such a good question, because I know I've gotten sick a couple times this year because I take care of 2 adorable little babies, and they go to preschool, and they had the runny noses. And it's funny, I thought I was immune because I've been in the field for so long, but you know what? Guess what? New germs. And had I known Dr. Chris before, maybe new germs would have gone like out the window with the pollen. So, Dr. Chris, number 1 tip for parents, should they start from the beginning?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that their children, right from the beginning, should be checked for interference to the nerves. And, many times there is no interference, but, having the children checked from the beginning will definitely prevent issues from happening in the future and leaves the children much more healthy. And
how do you know that your chiropractor is going to treat children? How do you find the right chiropractor? Is there a way besides, meet and greet or call them?
The best way the best thing that I can say is finding someone that that sees a chiropractor that they know and trust, and asking them. If any of your listeners are looking for someone in their area, not here just in Scottsdale, Arizona, but anywhere else in the country or Canada, I'd be happy to help them find someone that I know and that I trust and help those people find the right chiropractor for them.
Well, perfect segue into where can my listeners find you?
So they can find us, our website's tlcscottsdale.com. We're located at Shane Scottsdale Road in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're also on Facebook at Scottsdale Chiropractor. Our office is called Total Lifestyle Chiropractic. Myself and Dr. Sonia Blado, we have this practice here. And they can also email me at drchris@tlcscottsdale.com.
And the phone number is 480. What's the phone number? I don't know.
480-368-2682. 2639.
Well, I will put that on my website, and you can go to babyinstructions.com or mybestparentingadvice.com, and you can find Dr. Chris. You can always email me if you forget how to get in touch with him. And Dr. Chris, you're just great. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning. And you will be seeing my neck and back and whatever else is going on. Can't wait to come in and get adjusted. So thanks so much, and I would love to have you come back another time. So you have
thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you.
Oh, terrific. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, wow, my neck. I can't wait to go see Dr. Chris. Because I'm telling you, I sit at my computer a lot. I write. I love to write. And honestly, I wasn't kidding about my shoulders. If you sit in front of your computer, check out where your shoulders are. If they're up and near your ears, put them down and sit up straight. Anyway, that was my tip. So I will put all of Dr. Chris's information on my website. And next week, my guest will be Dr. Linda Clever, and we're going to have a party as it's going to be my 200th show. I'm so excited. Can't believe I'm up to 200 shows, and I've loved every single show, and I will continue to love every show. Dr. Linda has a book called The Fatigue Prescription, and we're going to talk all about everything. And, Dr. Linda's great. If you haven't heard her before, I hope you can tune in next week, because she's like sitting down with your best friend with a cup of tea and some cookies. So that's really exciting. And again, on my new website, mybestparentingadvice.com, take a look at that. I have some great experts on there. I post all the time. There's favorite tips. There's recalls, everything you would want, and babyinstructions.com. But My Best Parenting, I answer questions, and I just have a post that's coming on to answer questions about things that are not true when you have a newborn. So I'd like to leave you with a little giggle today. My swimsuit told me to go to the gym today, but my sweatpants were like, nah, girl, you're good. And finally, life only comes around once. So do whatever makes you happy and be with whoever makes your heart smile. You make my heart smile every week. And I'm so grateful to all my listeners for 199 shows. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Keep tuning in. We have so many great guests planned for the summer. Actually, the summer will come. It will stop raining. So thanks again for tuning in, for your support, for your questions. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.